Broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, everyone. Steve Murray here with Insurance Agency Marketing Services. I want to thank you and welcome you to our webinar regarding 401k and IRA rollovers, working with seminars, and kind of pointing out some of the things that are changing and in that marketplace and the opportunities that can bring to you to meet new folks and do new business with individuals around helping them with qualified funds in general and introducing them to that via seminars. Our guest speaker today will be Dave Pimper. Dave is the president of Lazarus Coaching, and so as the name entails, besides being a regular producer, he also does coaching, and he does it 100% now with IAMS and IAMS producers. So he works with our guys in various seminars, and of course we're going to talk about one of them today. Does some business coaching as well. So it should be a useful seminar for you if you just want to learn a little bit more about qualified funds and the opportunities there. If you're looking to grow your business using seminars and qualified funds, seminars might be a way that you can do that. Certainly could be literally career changing in that regard. So give you a little background. Of course, Insurance Agency Marketing Services, one of the co-owners here, along with Charles Hiring, 32 years in the business, primarily working in the senior market. Functionally do a lot of annuity business, a lot of single premium life business, do a good share of med sup business here over the last couple of years as well. As part of that, do a lot of what I call flow or target premium business as well. So we would love to help you out anytime that you're working with seniors. We've got a pretty full complement of products. We'll talk too about our wealth management firm, which seems to be dragging us into a 35 to 45 age group at a fast pace as well. So we're going to spend some time today go over a few things that we do here at IAMS. Going to talk a little bit about 401k seminars, and we're also going to have a couple polls that pop up, and you'll have opportunity to ask questions. So when those polls pop up, if you can answer yes or no to those as soon as possible, I would appreciate it. If you have questions, type them in, and we'll get them asked and answered of the entire group. So let's go ahead and get started here. I want to make sure that you are aware of a couple of programs that we have available. One, it's an increasingly popular program, and I judge popularity by the checks that we have going out. We call it the RPM program, Referred Producer Money. Very simple program. When you have a cohort in the business or somebody that you know might benefit from our services or products or incentives or training, you refer them to us. They get contracted with one of our carriers. We'll send you a check for $50. Great chance to go out and get lunch or breakfast or something. 50 doesn't go as far as it used to, I guess. But the real opportunity then comes because we pay an ongoing bonus, if you will, based on the business that they do. For instance, on annuity business, if they write $100,000, we're going to send you a check for $200. I want to be clear that that does not come out of their benefits. That does not come out of their commission. We simply look at that as a cost of marketing from our standpoint. And so there's no downside for your referee that goes with that. It's just a little extra money in your pocket. We send out those checks generally on a quarterly basis. Now we're sending out some. If those checks get up to be, where it's generating more than 1,000 or 2 a month, we're sending those out on a monthly basis. So there may be a couple of you on here that see this as a quarterly payout program, and there may be one or two of you that see this as a monthly payout program. It's really if we're paying out more than $3,000 in a quarter, then we're generally going to send those checks to you on a monthly basis just to get them in your hand. And again, we really value referrals just as you do in your business, and so we want to make sure that you feel rewarded for that. So that's how the RPM program works. Many of you know as well, you check regularly on your marketing reimbursement account with Chris Ramel here in our office. He's the supervisor of accounting, and so he kind of runs that program, and Cynthia can answer your questions as well. So it's a pretty simple program. Whenever you do business, whatever business that you do, it's going to put some money into your marketing reimbursement account that you can use for sales and marketing. We're going to match your spend dollar for dollar on that, and so it's a great way to kind of double your marketing budget by using your marketing reimbursement dollars to do that. Many of you, as I chat with you on the phone on a regular basis and we talk about business in general, you've seen a nice increase in your business. So you might want to make a phone call and check out what your marketing reimbursement account is. That can make it's a great time to market, I guess is what I'm saying. And so check that balance, see if we can help you with your marketing. And if we can, now is just a great time to do it. There's enough concern about what the markets are doing. There's enough interest rate increase now. There's that maybe hasn't hit the CD world quite yet, but it has hit the annuity world, and so there's enough differential between what you can offer. So it's just a great time to let people know what you do, and we want to help you with that using marketing reimbursement. New producer bonus, we call the new producer builder. So you can see the different levels. I'll call your attention, for instance, to the 500,000 point level. You can see there that there's a couple of seminar availabilities there. So what we will do at that 500,000 level, if you say, hey, I'm going to do business with y'all, you do 500,000, it's dollar for dollar annuity. It's like counts about 13 times for your target premium business, about 1.5 times for your single premium life business. Once you reach that 500,000 point level, then you can choose, for instance, to let us help you get in the seminar business, whether that's using this 401k seminar. So we'll pay for your coaching, and we'll also pay for your first mailing. So that's kind of a turnkey way to get into that business. So if that's of interest to you, what I would suggest that you do is give us a call, give your annuity sales director, life sales director a call, and have them talk you through that. We do Social Security seminars. That's been really popular, the mailing for that. I think we do a 6,000 piece mailing because that's a little cheaper at the 500,000 level. So we can get you into the seminar business. And hey, if you want to just go travel into Ritz-Carlton or get your website put up or take advantage of cash bonuses, things like that, or money. You can see at the 300,000 level, we can put 2,000 into your marketing reimbursement account. So there's a lot of different ways you can take advantage of your first pieces of business with IAMS. So it's really kind of a little bit of a loss leader for us to show you what we can do, because we know here at IAMS that when we show people what we bring to the table in terms of assisting them with the business sales process and the business issue process and brand building, we know we're going to get a great relationship going. We just got to get it started. So we put a lot of emphasis on those new producer builders. Again, I mentioned just now the back office support. I'm not going to take a bunch of time here with us. Many of you, and I'm just looking at our list of attendees, and I've a lot of familiar names. Great to chat with you all here this morning. But many of you know and have told me how valuable that back office support is to your business, and I appreciate that. I pass on kudos to the team whenever I can. They take a lot of pride in what they do, and I hesitate to be too humble on this because I'm not really responsible for it. But as a company, I think even our competitors would agree that if an agent is looking for somebody that's going to help him through the business process from submission to commission, there just isn't anybody better than IAMS. And you have to decide, hey, how important is that to me? How important is that to my business that I don't have to fuss with that? And I have a team on my side that can help me through that process. For some people, that's really important. For other people, they've got 2 or 3 assistants that do some of that for them, and it's not as important. Then you have to look at some of the other things that we at IAMS here do and see if they're valuable to you. One of the things I want to mention to y'all, and this is a kind of a bigger picture type approach, but you can go out, and some of our best producers have. I think of one of our guys in Kansas City, and he regularly used an advertising firm, and so they helped him do his ads in the newspapers. They helped him keep his website up to date. They helped him in some of his communication that he did via Facebook to help grow his business. The thing that he always struggled with was that he was always having to explain to them our business. This is how it works. And so a lot of times that explanation took place after he said, okay, this is what I want. And they provide. And he said, well, there's some things here about what we're doing that don't even fit really well with what we're trying to do. And so he had to explain to them again. And he said, that's the major difference, the benefit that he sees in working with our creative team. Is he never had to have those conversations because our creative team deals with it all day long. They're dealing with producers just like you. So they've got a whole site dedicated to just sample forms that they can just throw your logo on and you can use in the sales process, in the marketing process with your clients. Websites, the same agent had a website put together by this advertising firm, really happy with it. There was nothing wrong with it. The problem was that it cost him like $3,000 to get it set up, and they were charging him like $200 a month to maintain it. That is unnecessary. I mean, we can get that done for you for a lot less, with a lot less trouble to you, with our website development team. So we can still be pretty custom, but we can start with some basic templates that you will look at and you say, wow, that's good stuff. I like that. And so you don't have to think of it, which, that was one of the other parts of that. So, there's a lot of things that we can do, the creative services team can do. And if you give them a shot and let them work with you a little bit, I think you'll see the value of working with a group of folks that is, number one, knows our business, number two, dedicated, and number three, empowered. So we let them know that, hey, our idea here is to do everything that we can for our producers at as little cost as possible, because the payoff comes when the business comes in the door, and that's what we're trying to get. So take advantage of the creative solutions team at Jacob, Sean over there, Jill, probably the first three people that I would talk to on that team. Website, I'm not going to take a lot of time on the website because I know, just looking at our group, that a lot of you have already spent some time there. I'll mention, as I have over the last few webinars, under the support tab, there is an IAMS resource library. If you have not looked at that, you need to take some time and look at it. We're paying a pretty good amount of money to have all of those tools available to you, and they're tools that insurance and investment professionals will find useful. So take advantage of those. There are a lot of questionnaires, a lot of finding referral type tools, a lot of building your practice type stuff, a lot of it's a really nice third-party web application that we have put on our website that you can take advantage of. I'm going to ask you, if you haven't yet, I know we're talking to a few folks out there that are really comfortable with your business, but if you haven't looked at that yet, I'm just going to ask you to take a few minutes, go under support on the website, and then go down to the IAMS sales resource library and take 15 minutes and just look at what's out there. And I guarantee you that you'll find some ways that you can save some money and do a better job in working with your clients. Retirement Analyzer, free software package, really comprehensive analysis of where people are towards their retirement journey, helps them identify their shortcomings, does it in a very colorful, graphic way that is very user-friendly. The complaint that I hear from guys is that there's a lot of information that goes in. And that is true, but in order to get a really good comprehensive picture, you need to have some decent information input, garbage in, garbage out, gold in, gold out. That's what that really happens with any of these analysis type programs that help you build a program for your client that is a systematic approach to getting where they want to get in retirement, something that is, annually reviewable, and, hey, this is where we are, this is where we need to be, this is what you're doing, hey, you got more risk than you want, your risk within your portfolio is going up when your risk tolerance is going down. All that stuff is easily evaluated, and it's a great way to get yourself away from, hey, let's move that CD into this annuity, or hey, you've got a life insurance, I can get it for you cheaper. It's a great way to get away from that very transactional type of approach to a more global, hey, I can help you with your financial picture and making sure that every puzzle piece is where it's supposed to be. Marcus in our office handles that. We take care of the cost of that so that you can look at it. And we'll do that for the first 90 days, even without business. So if it's something that you want to look at and see, and maybe spend some time with Marcus, is how it works. And then after that, of course, we pay a monthly fee per user. So what we do after that is, of course, we'd want to see to where we're doing business together at that point and making sure it's valuable to you. IAMS Wealth Management, this is a pretty simple thing. If you are considering getting in the wealth management business, if you were thinking of getting your investment advisor rep appointment, accreditation, if you will, or maybe you're a CFP already and you got that accreditation, which in many states would allow you to become an investment advisor rep. If those are things that you've considered, and thinking that you might want to make that part of your business, I'm hoping that you might give us a shot at helping you with that. And if you're already an investment advisor rep and maybe not happy with your RIA, again, I'm hoping that you'll give us a shot at that, because I think what you'll find, and this is what I'm getting feedback over the past 6 or 8 months from some folks that have joined and working over there is that they are very helpful, more helpful than what folks are used to in that market place in terms of assisting with the process. So whether it's going on and doing your proposals, going on and designing, how you're going to work with a client, going in and, hey, what's the process for now? How do I go and talk to a client, or how do I introduce these services now to my present clientele? Or, I've been an investment advisor rep, but I've not had a platform that I felt comfortable with. It was simple and easy for both myself and my clients to understand. And how do I introduce that? Those are the kind of things that I'm getting back from guys who are saying, okay, you guys are much, much better at that than the last RIA I was with. And I think a lot of that has to do with has been kind of our MO. That's what we have done on the insurance side for 32 years. And so that kind of is carried over to the wealth management team. And so, we're used to helping people kind of on a step-by-step basis to try and get them to where they want to be. A lot of firms that are registered investment advisors, I think, come from the broker-dealer background. And as you all know, on the broker-dealer background, it's more like, hey, we're going to administrate the business. You just need to bring us to business. And how you do that is up to you, as long as you don't get outside compliance. And, they're really kind of more like business managers and business assisters. On the IAMS Wealth side, we're really business development assisters. It comes from our approach from years and years on the insurance side. And so gotten really good feedback. Our growth reflects that a little bit. We've had a really good start from really ground zero to 35, 40 million now in a relatively short period of time. And that's mostly organic growth. We're not bringing over guys with 15, 20, 30 million dollar blocks of business. Obviously, we're bringing guys over that are, just trying to get rolling with that, and maybe have done a couple million or maybe done none. Just want to, and by the way, we do a really good job of assisting folks that want to just get their appointment. Go through the testing process. We do a really good job with helping with that as well. So I hope if you have interest, if that's something you're considering, what I hope you'll do is check yes. Now, a lot of you out there I know are really comfortable and are really good at that business already. Maybe you might look at us and say, hey, your fees are quite a bit less, or your payouts are quite a bit greater, which I get that feedback pretty regularly as well. And if you want to have somebody at least give you a call and say, this is what we do in terms of our costs of doing business and in terms of the fees that you earn, that's a pretty short conversation. Charles, Mike, Joan, any one of them can do that with you in just a few minutes and explore that. So if that's of interest to you, just check yes on that poll. And I see most of you have already voted. Thank you for that. For those of you that still have some question, what I would say is if you want someone to just maybe give you a call and say, hey, how's this work? Because it's going to be, 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now. I would say the top 10%, 15% of producers out there that really is doing the big level of business, even on the insurance side, probably 50, 60% of those will also be able to offer products other than insurance products via wealth management type of approach. We would love to help you with that. If we can, that'd be great. If you're already well set up and you're happy, that's okay too. So we appreciate that. Thank you all for voting so quickly. We do appreciate that. I'm going to go ahead and close that poll out. If you do want to chat about it further and you want to have a few minutes with me, that would be great. My name is Steve Murray. Again, my number is 800-255-5055. In a relatively short period of time, we can decide whether that's not a good fit for you or is a good fit. I'm going to move on here really quick. Wanted to mention to you our Life and Annuity Academies. We have one coming up here in about 2 or 3 weeks. It may be our last one of the year, but we are actually looking at doing one at kind of an off-site location, maybe at the first part of next year, and obviously off-site because we need to get to a warmer location. So we'd probably be looking at doing something in Florida, Texas, maybe Southern California, sometime in January. So for many of you, again, just looking at our group of attendees, I know that many of you have already attended an academy over the past 4 or 5 years. So there have been some things that have changed, but probably not in the last year or two. So if you've been in the last year or two, I would at least ask you to give me a call because I understand the desire to come back in. I know it can recharge business significantly, but I do want to give folks that have not yet been in a chance to see some of the things that we do there. So I'm going to throw up another poll, and I'm going to ask you that if you want to join us on one of our academies coming up here we're probably looking now at 2019, maybe as early as January of 2019 will be the first. We were going to do 3 or 4 of them, maybe a little bit more than that during the course of 2019. And all I would ask is if you have interest in joining us for an academy, that you check yes. And for some of you, I know there are some people that have never joined us for even a webinar, so I'm going to walk you through what we do at Academy in as a brief time as I can here. So what we do during the Academy, it's a 3-day event. We'll bring you in generally on a Wednesday. We'll have dinner, cocktails, and we'll do some learning yet that evening. We'll go most of the next day, and we'll have dinner that evening, and then we'll go half of Friday and get you back to your location. We're going to take care of your expenses associated with that. So whether you're flying or driving, we're going to pay for your transportation. We're going to take care of your hotel. We're going to take care of your meals and libations while you're there with us as well. The centerpiece of the Academy is our top producer section. So we'll have 4 top producers, and we'll make 3 or 4 seminars available. We'll make 2 or 3 sales ideas, 1 major sales approach available to you, and they will all come to you from folks currently in the field and doing very good business and having very good success in the areas that they're going to present. So these are things that you can take advantage of or not. In fact, you couldn't take advantage of all of them. There's just too much stuff there from the producer standpoint. We'll also spend some time talking about some of the benchmark sales and marketing things that successful individual producers and agency builders are using on a regular basis. We will talk about products, and a lot of times we'll do it in conjunction with a carrier, sometimes not. Sometimes we'll have 2 or 3 carriers that come in, and whenever they talk about products, I'm okay with that, obviously, but I want them also to talk about a sales idea. So we try and mix in a little bit of sales ideas from, associated with products along with that product training. And that product training in itself is probably about 25 to 30% of the Academy. Most of the Academy is going to be sales approaches, marketing approaches to help you grow your business. And some of it's just, a great practice management, things you should be doing every day in your business, and we can help you with that. And so that's the kind of the width and the breadth of what we talk about at the sales academies. If that is of interest to you, if you'd like to be considered to come into one of them during the course of 2019, you probably need to register now. When you register, what's going to happen if you hit yes on that is you're going to get a copy of a sample agenda, which will probably be the agenda for the one that we have coming up here in October, which will be very similar to what we do in January. And then you'll also have a registration form there, which basically you give us the basic information that we need to contact you during the course of 2019 and see if the timing for one of the academies will fit for you. So pretty simple process. If you have interest, check yes. If you've been into one recently, check no. If you don't have interest, call me up and explain it to me. I don't know how you don't take advantage of free training that, believe me, when you leave, you'll leave with 2 or 3 tertiary ideas that can help you on a day-to-day basis. You'll leave with a couple of things to say, I can't believe I have never done that in the past as part of what I do every day or weekly or monthly and to help build my business. And then you'll probably leave with an idea or 2 where you'll say, I might want to consider that. That could be a major changer of the way that you do business and the level at which you do business from one of the top producers. So the most comment I hear most often is that there's a lot of very, very valuable information put in a very, very short period of time. So if you have interest in joining that, oops, I did not hit launch. I apologize. If you have interest in joining, check yes. If you have interest, or if you've already been recently, and by recently I mean in the last couple of years, check no. And if you want to talk with me about that, if you want to come into one of them in 2019, by all means, I'm open to that conversation here at the office. Give me a call at 800-255-5055 or call your sales director. We're certainly open to the conversation of bringing you back in if there's some specific that you want to kind of reignite in your business that we can help you with. And again, if you want to come in for an academy, just hit yes on that poll. And probably because I started too late, but we don't have really good. Only about a third of you have voted so far. Those of you that have not yet voted, I do want to get moving along, so I'm going to close that poll out here in about a minute. So vote if you can. If you have been unable to vote because maybe you're just listening, not watching online, or maybe you've got some issue where you can't vote and you would like to be considered and like to see that registration package, just give me a call at the office at 800-255-5055. I'll make sure that we get that out to you here today. Okay, with that, thank you all. Again, I apologize for not getting that poll open quicker for you, but by all means, if you want to chat, give me a call, and I'm going to close that poll out now, and we'll get moving along. So the Ritz-Carlton in beautiful Naples, Florida. I really don't think that, picture does it justice. It is a beautiful hotel, no doubt about it. And what you see in front of it is nothing but beautiful beach and beautiful ocean. It's a great location and a great place to go. Again, we'll do a little bit of business there, but mostly it's for you and your guests to kick back and relax and enjoy yourselves, along with some other folks that are like-minded in the way that they do business, and maybe share some ideas in more of a social setting. We'd love to have you join us. Qualification for that began in June, but it actually runs all the way through December 30th of the year here, so of next year. So we got plenty of time, or I'm sorry, it runs through June of next year. It started in January of this year. It runs through June of next year. So you got plenty of time to qualify, full 9 months. You can see some of the qualification numbers there in front of you. Any business that you do has qualification, obviously. We're going to be out there August 25th through the 29th, so it's sure to be beautiful, sunny on the beach in Naples. There's a lot of great things to do there. We'll do a little golf if you want to. There's a lot of great sights to see, tremendous kind of ecology around their ecosystem around that area with the I think there's some beautiful, kind of unusual state park areas where you can see all kinds of great stuff, great shopping, great golf, and of course, great beach area there. Some of the best beaches in the world by all accounts. So we'd love to have you join us out there, you and your guest. It doesn't take a lot to qualify. We've got plenty of time to do it. So whatever we can do to help you grow that part of your business and get out there, we'll have a great group of people there. We always do. We'd love to have each one of you be part of that as well. So now we're going to talk about 401k and IRA and just general qualified monies. We're going to go through some basic things that I think will be helpful in how you do day-to-day business with your clients. We'll talk about offering some of that expertise to your clients via seminar, and Dave will walk you through kind of some of the numbers around and behind all that. Dave, have you joined us here today?
I have. How are you doing, Steve?
Very, very well. I'm going to turn over the keyboard and mouse. I talked a little bit about you before you joined us, I believe, but I think it would be useful. I mentioned to them that you're a producer and that you're a seminarian, but I haven't really talked much about how long you've been producing and how many seminars you've done. So if you can kind of walk the guys and gals through that, and then we'll get started here.
Steve, that concerns me, seminarian. That sounds like I've been to seminary, which you and I both know we haven't, so I want to have full disclosure here. Hey, good morning, everybody. Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Dave Pimper. I'm glad you're with us. We got a good crowd across the U.S. Going to hear a little bit about 401ks, IRA rollovers, maybe how seminar marketing, how seminar marketing can go in and possibly help your business. Now, just to let you know, I've been in the business since 1981. I started for 3 years with insurance, and then I got into investment brokerage. And really, my basics of my business is split between the variable product of investments and then the guaranteed products of a fixed index or fixed annuity. So what we're going to talk about today is a system. It's a kind of, you put the key in and you drive away because the transmission, the engine, the differential has all been put into play, going down the right path. And there's a background on this seminar system. Remember, our business is a simple business. You get in front of enough qualified prospects, You close a percentage of those, and that's how you make your living, and hopefully have a very good financial product that you're showing that prospective client that's a fit for them. So this is not annuity-based. This is not managed money-based. This is they're really educational seminars. I've found that kind of a specific topic is better than a broad topic. So 401ks, IRA rollovers, we're looking for that pre-retired, just retired person. Just came off of a workshop lead here, specifically had already retired from their company. He has just over $200,000 in his 401k, doesn't know what to do with it. That's the perfect type of prospect that we're looking at here. I've done this next Tuesday and Thursday. Actually, it's in 2 weeks. In October, will be my 480th and 481st public workshop that I've done since the mid 80s. That's only about 17, 18 a year, and that's what I average, between 15 and 20 a year. I'm very consistent from a marketing standpoint. So I think that one of the biggest fall downs on producers is having enough qualified appointments each and every day. And the more appointments, belly-to-belly, face-to-face appointments you have, it's no different than the old days, 30, 40 years ago, probably the more successful that you'll be. And hopefully you can help a lot of clients in the meantime. If you have any questions, certainly go in and, just bring it on up, and I will answer those for you. So let's go in real quick and kind of take a quiz. And those slides here aren't the actual slides, but I will get into the actual slides. The big thing that I want to do today is just to show you, I put this seminar together. It has been FINRA reviewed. If you are securities licensed, but you'll see it's not at all a product-oriented presentation. It's very much of an educational basis. So how much do you really know about this subject? So let's take a 5 questions here. You make your initial Roth IRA contribution for the 2015 tax year on April the 15th of 2016, and you can do that up to the filing date, okay, for the year before. How many years do you have to wait to withdraw all the money out tax-free? So on a Roth, remember, it's after-tax money, so the principal you can always take out. But how about the earnings? How long do you have to wait for those earnings to be tax-free? Any idea? Well, if you said 5 years, surprisingly, you're wrong. Everyone says 5 years. And it's called the 5-year rule. It's not called the 3-year, 8.5-month rule. But the reason it is, all contributions, now not conversions, but Roth IRAs for the year you're putting it in, they all revert back to January 1 of that year. So if you put it in on July the 1st, say of this year, of 2018, the 5-year period starts on January 1. So if you wait as long as you can till taxation time of April the 15th, if you go back those months, it's 3 years, 8.5 months. Pretty interesting. Huh. Not many people know that. What type of trust do you have to establish for your IRA when your intent is to make sure you're designated or your human beneficiaries within that trust are able to stretch out the tax deferral? It's called an inherited IRA for their families. What kind of trust has to be established? Any idea? Well, it's got to go in and look at the beneficiaries. It has to go in and look at that heartbeat. So it's a see-through trust or a look-through trust. That's a type of a conduit trust. And a lot of trusts aren't set up that way. What type of trust do you have to establish for your non-IRA? So it's non-qualified with an annuity when your intent is to make sure your designated or human beneficiaries within that trust are able to stretch out the tax deferral, meaning they're taking it off of their life expectancy, a younger life expectancy where you don't have to take as much out. It's kind of a trick question because you know what? Can't happen with a non-qualified. Just the 5-year tax rule comes into play. What does the designation of Per Stirpes mean pertaining to beneficiaries? Per Stirpes. So there's per capita, per head, and per Stirpes means per bloodline or per root. by the branch. It goes down through the children, through the bloodline. Okay. Now, you probably didn't get those all right. A couple of those were pretty tricky, but people who say they're just an expert and they know everything about the retirement, I certainly know my share, but do I know everything? Am I an expert? Well, in the eyes of most people, I would be, but there's certainly things to learn. So what we're going to do today, those are the actual slides, and they're not all of them. This is an hour presentation. It is a dinner workshop. And if you say to yourself, I'm not going to spend 20 or 25 bucks on people who are there just for the dinner and they're never going to sign up for a consultation, I have no chance of working with them, I think that is short-minded. There are some workshops where you don't need a dinner, and they're strong enough on their own to not have that emphasis of the dinner of them coming on in, like Social Security claiming. You can do those in a library. You can do those in a metro tech or college setting, educational setting, and you'll get enough people coming in without. But this needs a little bit of emphasis, kind of from that sociable standpoint. So let's talk about that. So what I like to do is potential rollover options for your 401k. Now, 401k is for profit, 403b is company plans that are non-profit or not-for-profit, and 457 are deferred comp plans with governments. They're kind of triplets of brothers and sisters. They're very similar, not perfectly similar, but very similar. When I say 401ks, I'm kind of going across the gamut. So you can do nothing. You could roll over to a new company retirement plan. You could take a lump sum distribution. You could convert to a Roth IRA. You could roll over and transfer it to a traditional IRA. Which one is the one that we work with the most as producers out of those five? And we make our livelihood from this. It's rolling it over, taking that and putting it into a fixed indexed annuity or fixed index in some wealth management or securities, whatever your licenses are. And what happens is, though, gaining control of part of that money. And what I try to do, and the regulators want this, they want to see a balanced approach. They want to see not just all the positives. That's pretty unfair. It's like going on your first date. I mean, you're on your very, very, very best behavior all the way through. That is the way life really is. So we want to show the good points, and we want to show also some of the points that have hurdles to them. So let's talk about doing nothing. And then I'm not going to go through every single one of those slides because I certainly want to be done in the time period within the hour of when we started. But you could do nothing. And so your existing 401k plan, as long as there's $5,000 or more, which anyone who's worked for any time period has that amount of money in there, it'll stay right there. Most likely, the plan will keep it. Okay? So how about the second item? Why leave your investments in your current 401k plan? So we're giving advice here as an agent, as a producer, of why they want to leave it there. They're thinking, well, gosh, how does he make money if we leave it there? We don't. But you know what? I talk about the 55-year rule, and a lot of people don't know about that. In fact, there's some advisors that don't know about this. But if you're 55 years or older and you disconnect from employment with your plan, you were fired, you were laid off, you quit, you retired, whatever the fact is, if you're 55 or later when that action happened, you're able to take from your money without any 10% penalty. Normally, you got to be 59 and a half. Or if you roll it over to an IRA, you got to be 59 and a half. So it's called the 55-year age rule. And so that's something that's very good. So you might want to keep that money in your plan, or a portion of that money in your 401k if you need that money down the road to buy a car or whatever it happens to be. Other considerations, ERISA, creditor protection under federal law. Yeah, ERISA versus an IRA, I'll tell you right now, there's many, many, many more rules when it comes to ERISA rules than there are individual retirement account rules. You might want to keep it there because you're just familiar. You're with, this is hypothetically, but you're with Vanguard funds and you understand Vanguard funds. You know they're low fees, you're comfortable with them, or Fidelity or whoever it might be. You're just familiar. May not be the best reason, but it could be a reason. They may offer lower fees. But you know what? How many fees without an income rider are there in a fixed indexed annuity? None. How about a fixed annuity? There's surrender charges. Yeah, there is. But there's no internal fee. So it certainly could be lower. Maybe it's just the easiest choice to stay there. No decision has to be made now, which some people like to kick that can down the road. So when I'm going through a slide like this, first of all, they think, well, how do they make money if that money stays with the plan? Well, we don't. But it's good. It could be great advice, for the potential client. So we're trying to give the pluses and the negatives within that subject matter. Roll your retirement funds to a new company retirement plan. I talk a new one here a little about service and guidance. Where do you get service and guidance with your old plan? If you're working with me, that's what we do. We give hopefully good service. We give good guidance when it comes to your money. Okay? There's no doubt you have more investment choices outside than you do within. Where can you get a real good guarantee within a 401k? Well, it comes from a stable income fund. Stable income fund, yeah, you can only be found in 401ks and 403bs, 457s, but they've been averaging less than 1.5% for the last years. It's just not very competitive when you take a look at what you can get. There's a lot of plans now. You can get a guaranteed 3% just for a year's time on the level interest option. Yeah. You can make double and have your principal guaranteed. Take a lump sum distribution. You think that'd be pretty ridiculous, but this is an unbelievable statistic. Hard for me to believe, but it is true. 53% of all 401k participants take their money out when they retire or they leave service with the company. Get a load of that. There is one good reason called net unrealized appreciation. And so it doesn't come into play a lot. And I bring this up whether you have just an insurance license or insurance and security license, but NUA, net unrealized appreciation. And just in simple terms, here's how it works. Let's say you work for, again, hypothetical, say you work for General Electric. I see that they just let their CEO go, and they're having lots of troubles right now. They got a brand new CEO as of this morning. Let's say that you look at your plan and you're retiring from them at this opportune time. You got half of your money. Let's say a quarter. You have a quarter of your money in GE stock, General Electric stock. You got 3/4 in mutual funds, conventional 401k mutual funds. Well, as long as it's the public company you're working for. So you work for GE, you have GE stock. You work for Microsoft, you have Microsoft stock. It doesn't work if you work for GE and have Microsoft stock. It has to be the company stock. And let's just say you've been investing in it for years and years and years, and even though General Electric is down right now in pricing, it still has appreciated a lot in the last 30 years. So this is all hypothetical, of course, but let's say that you put in, you got $400,000 total in your 401k, you have $100,000 in GE stock. Your cost basis, which your custodian is going to keep a cost basis, the record keeper, on that stock for you. Let's say you got $25,000 stock basis. Well, here's what you do. You have to do by the 31st of December, the end of the year, you have to move all the money out. But let's say you move the $300,000 mutual funds, whatever your investment of choice is, you move that out to that in an IRA, and then you move the other into a personal account. You move the GE stock into a personal account. Once you do that, you have to pay taxes 100% on the cost basis. Even though you're moving out $100,000, you only pay ordinary income tax on the $25,000. What about on the $75,000? Whenever you're going to sell that, then that will be at a long-term capital gain. Now, if you're in a low tax bracket, it doesn't make much difference. If you're in a high tax bracket and you got a fairly good amount, it can make a huge difference. Lower taxation is more money in your pocket. So I like bringing this on up because it's a very unique, people who get stock options, wealthier employees for corporations, this could be something extremely important to them because most of them have the stock if it's publicly traded of their own company. I have 4 or 5 places throughout this. I have some fun things. I said, experience is a good school, but the fees are high. And I'll say, what happens is when you're working with, you're working, just for example, required to minimum distributions. Got some flexibility on the first year when you can take it. It isn't just the end of the year. You can wait till April 1st of the next year, and that's for the balance of not just the year before, but if you take April 1st, it's of 2 years, of the December 31st, 2 years before. What happens if you miss it by 1 day, you're 1 day late? Yeah, the penalty is 50%. If you're supposed to take out $5,000, they'll penalize you $2,500, the government will, and then they'll tax you on the amount coming out. So you certainly want to work with a professional to help you not miss any deadlines whatsoever. Now, I'm not going to go through, I'm going to go through quickly, but we talk about what is a Roth, a tax-free Roth IRA. We talk about that. One of the big things is you don't have required and minimum distributions on a Roth. So you have a husband and wife. The husband dies, the wife gets it. It's a spousal privilege, marital privilege, to go in and to take that as if it's hers. She doesn't have RMDs. She dies. It goes to her kids as those primary beneficiaries. The kids do have RMDs, required minimum distributions, off of their age if they inherit that, but they're all tax-free. So there's some you can put in later than 7.5, which you cannot do in a conventional, traditional IRA. So there's a lot of things that are cool about tax-free Roth IRAs. Then there's Roth conversions, okay? And I have more slides than this, but you kind of talk about how the conversion rule works, and then in how you can go in from a taxable account to tax-free. A lot of people don't do this because if you take $100,000 out to transfer it from tax deferral to tax-free, you've got taxes, ordinary taxes you're paying on that money. But maybe you do a partial conversion. Take $10,000 over the next 10 years. Pretty cool. We talk about recharacterization was a rule that you could, if you waited until up to October the 15th of the next year, you could redo it or undo it. Can't do that any longer. That oops rule is gone. Did away with in the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2018 that came into the beginning of this year. So then we talk about indirect rollovers and direct rollovers. Indirect rollovers, or called a 60-day rollovers, when the check from that company retirement plan is made out to you. We highly, highly, highly are in strong opinion that you do not do that type of rollover. A direct rollover or a direct transfer is where it goes from custodian to custodian. Or you could say trustee to trustee. It's basically the same like an attorney and a lawyer. They're synonyms. But the indirect rollover, if it's over a company plan, they're going to take 20% out. 100,000 rolls out of that. Government's going to keep 20 because they don't trust that you're going to pay the taxes on it. Well, thank you very much, government. They don't do that with a direct rollover. You can only do one every 365 days of indirect rollovers. If you do two, unbelievably, everything will be taxed for you. Everything will be taxed. So if you took out one for $5,000 and took one out for $1 million, you got $1,005,000 that is taxable. How terrible would that be? We believe in the direct rollovers, okay? So then we talk about the direct, there's no 20% taken out. There's no 12-month rule, 12-month rollover rule. There's no 60-day rule. I mean, it's just so much simpler. You can do as many as you want in any given year's time. Yeah. So then we talk about why. And I go through more. I talk about beneficiaries. This is one of the I think the biggest things that you can help them. It's free. It's free estate planning. So who do you name? And we go through, leave it blank. You can name your estate or will, your spouse, your children, your grandchildren, charity, and trust. And then we talk about those. Says I've got all the money I'll ever need if I die by 4 o'clock. Henny Youngman, you don't want this to happen to you. If you have any questions, type them on in. I'm going to hand this over to Steve here in a couple minutes, and then we'll answer if there is any questions. But this type of seminar system, all of the language I wrote out, it's on every single slide. Of course, you don't show that with the PowerPoint when you're showing it to the attendees, but it's certainly a learning experience. You learn, we coach for 5 sessions. And those 5 sessions, I get paid from the coaching. I don't get paid in a hierarchy or an override from yourself. I get paid $150 per session. They last about 45 minutes. I back it up with notes and articles and explanations after we go through each of our sessions. But IAMS comes in if you qualify. They pay $555 of the $750. So your cost is $195 for the coaching. Pretty darn inexpensive to have 5 coaching sessions and kind of teaching you this seminar system and the information. We talk about beneficiary stretching out, or it's talking about the inherited rule. We go in specifically how it's titled. John Doe Sr., IRA, deceased date for the benefit of his son. There's a specific way that those inherited IRAs need to be titled. We just ran across one from another one that was not titled correctly, and you could run in trouble on that. It could go in and kind of ex-nay the entire transaction, and we changed it, made commentary, and we did change it to do it the right way. But you'll learn about the inherited IRA. There's a little different required minimum distribution. There's a little more that you have to go in and take out of inherited than off of a regular IRA for an RMD. We talk about that per Stirpes again versus per capita per head. Transfer on death is a non-IRA beneficiary, like in a bank account or a brokerage non-qualified account. Talk about required minimum distributions. This in itself could be, and Steve knows this, we've got some people that do just a workshop on RMDs, required minimum distributions. We do talk about, in general, a QLAC, a qualified longevity annuity contract. That's how to go in and delay paying taxes on your RMD. Delays, you eventually do, but you delay it and let that money work for you. It's an insurance product. Arthur Godfrey says, I'm proud to be paying taxes in the U.S. The only thing I could be just as proud for half the money. Remember, if you save $1 in taxes, that's just like making $1 in earnings. So what should we be doing? We should be trying to get either a safer rate of return than where they're at from a lesser volatility, more capital preservation, or we're trying to not pay as much in taxes, which either way puts money in our pocket for the client. We talk about in-service non-hardship withdrawal plans. This is something you should ask every single person. If you're working for a firm and you've got a retirement plan, it's called the 59.5 rule. Can you take money out of this, roll it over into an individual retirement account, and still be working for the company? 20 years ago, there were only the big firms that did it. Now, a lot of firms have in-service non-hardship withdrawal. It frees money up from that 401k as they're still working there and haven't retired yet. Talk a little more about that. And then, if you don't know Social Security, you might want to take this slide out, but truly, if you don't know Social Security, kind of shame on you, you should. You should understand the claiming rules with Social Security. I've got expertise within that area. We also have a seminar that's within that area. But, it says consider using IRA money and delaying your Social Security. Why would you do that? Because from 62 to full retirement age, say you're born from 43 to 54, your full retirement age is 66. If you're born 1960 or later, it's 67. So everyone's full retirement age really now is between age 66 and 67. After that, you earn guaranteed by the U.S. government 8% a year. And remember, COLAs is in everything. So, right now, there's a 2% COLA this year. Looks like there's going to be a 2.7 or 8%, almost a 3% COLA next year. That's double-digit return guaranteed for you with Social Security. Where can you get that from any annuity? You cannot. Where can you get a guarantee like that with any kind of variable investment? You cannot. not a guarantee. But you can from an income stream from the U.S. government with Social Security. So instead of waiting to 70.5 to take your RMD, why don't you start taking your RMD at full retirement age and letting your Social Security grow? It's something a lot of people have not thought about, but they should. And we bring it up in the workshop. And I'll tell you, this slide is one of the kind of key slides. That and the in-service transfer slide is another big slide. The indirect and direct rollovers is the big slide. Those garner thought process from the attendee to mark yes on that consultation form at the end for the appointment. So there's a lot to think about, and here's kind of the run. There's a lot to think about. There's a lot of rules and regulations you think about, and then I'll say everyone's got an evaluation form. Please take that out. And I kid about it. If you've already marked no for the consultation, mark through that. I want to start on the clean slate again. And then I'll say on this, you've got the dates and times that I'm available for the next 2 weeks. Now, time out. See, I want a commitment on their part right here. I want them to mark yes, they want a consultation. And then we'll call them back the next day, give us a good daytime phone number. And I'll say what happens is this will make available to you. It's no cost. There's no obligation, but we'll discuss any financial matters that you have concerning of your retiring or just retiring or Social Security, whatever it is that you want to talk about, we will help you there. And then I go through some questions. Here's my promise to you. And I go a little slower in this, but I leave your checkbooks at home. We're not going to talk about specific investments. What we're going to talk about is kind of a game plan, a financial game plan for yourself. And I assure you, we'll uncover one problem, one hurdle that and then give you a solution of what you can do for that when you come in, whether we meet again or not. And then I go through, I say, what are the best rollover options for my 401k? If you don't know, maybe you need to mark yes. Could a Roth conversion benefit me? That's a good question to ask. I have expertise in that arena. How do you complement Social Security with your 401k? If you don't know Social Security, maybe you can't have this bullet point, but a lot of people don't really consider this. They just take earlier than they should. Could different investment choices benefit me? I just know that most guaranteed type of investments like stable income funds are not very competitive. We have a plethora of guaranteed type structured investments that you could look at. Beneficiaries, do you really understand the inherited designation? And just a second opinion. Sometimes the second opinion is the most important opinion. And I go in and I say, everybody knows who George Foreman is. He won the heavyweight three different times, made a lot of money in boxing, but where did he make the most money? And someone raise their hand and say, the George Foreman Grill. I'll say, you know what, that's exactly right. I said, you know what, unless you've got your name on a grill, then you probably should mark yes on that consultation form. And everybody starts laughing. They're feeling good. Emotions are high. I've given them some good information that they don't have all the answers for. And a lot of the people do mark yes that they want a consultation. So I think the beginning, the front and the close are key. You give them good, solid educational information in the beginning. But that's a very strong educational seminar, dinner seminar, that we've had very good success, myself and with other individuals also using that seminar. And I think it could really be worth something for some of you to take a look at for marketing your practice. So I'll turn this back over to Steve Murray and see if there's any questions, and we'll be done here shortly.
Thank you, Dave. Great job as always. There are a couple of questions about costs, and I know, did you go over some of the costs? I
did not. I just did the coaching cost. Yeah.
Okay. Can you talk a little bit about the mailers, and then maybe even touch base a little bit on what your returns have been and kind of what your profitability?
Right. And that will depend on your area, depend on the person. But I will say this: the goal is to get at least 10 appointments. If you can get 10 appointments from a workshop, the chance of writing business is high. It's high. So we mail out 6,000 mailers, and that's the big cost. I mean, meals, you'll spend somewhere between $700 and $1,000 or $1,100 for meals, but the seminar cost is 55 cents per seminar, and it's a full color, front and back, card stock on a physical mailer, including the postage. So you mail out 6,000, so you have about $3,300 wrapped up in the postage, and then you figure another $700-800 in the meal. So it's a $4,000 to $4,500 commitment. So that's not for the weak at heart, and it isn't for someone who doesn't have who doesn't have a true conviction to really build their business. I've done almost 500 workshops, and those workshops have garnered me a tremendous amount of production, millions and millions and tens of millions of dollars of productions through the years. And what happens is that it's a system, and you like to be consistent with the system, but that's your big cost. The coaching, like I said, out of the $750 that I earn for coaching, you only pay $195, and you can always use me then. And that's kind of a nice thing. Once you coach with me, you can certainly use me anytime that you want to answer questions about anything to do from a financial standpoint. What I try to do here, and realistically, if I can bring in $250,000 or $300,000 total, that could all go into annuity business, could go all into wealth management or security business. But what happens is $250,000 to $300,000, I'm pretty happy. Have I had seminars where it brought in over $1 million? Sure I have. Not often, but sure I have. Have I had ones where I actually didn't bring in any? I have. It doesn't happen very often at all. You can probably count it on a hand out of all the workshops I've done. But if you follow the system, you do a good job, you get 10 appointments or more. And we hope to get, out of 6,000 mailed, if we can get 40 people to the workshop, we're pretty happy with that. 35 to 40 people will normally bring enough buying units, somewhere 24 to 28 buying units. And we know that about 20% of the people there are there strictly for the meal. But if we can get about half of the appointments from the other 80%, then we're doing just fine. We should be able to put the odds in our favor to have a financially productive workshop for ourselves.
Perfect. And that's a good segue for me, because you talked about if you follow the system. And I want to take just a minute. In fact, I'm going to launch, because I know there's some people that need to go here. I want to launch the poll. So if you have interest in learning more about seminars and potentially working with Dave, select yes to let us know that you have interest there. And Dave will set up his team will set up a short call, and you can kind of review in more detail for your personal situation, see if that might be a fit. But Dave talked about if you follow the system, that you can expect good results. And so we've been doing seminars for quite a while, offering seminars to our producers as a way to generate business for quite a while. And really, when you look at our success rate and you review who the people that have had success, a good portion of those use seminars to one extent or another in their business. I would say of our top 20% of producers, probably about a good third to half of them use seminars in some form in their business. And I think there's a very good reason for that. And we're going to take some of the credit for that here at IAMS, because what we have done over the last 17 years in working with producers is we have finally, over that time frame, figured out how to make it work. And a lot of that is on our shoulders to make sure that the systems that you need are there, and that the process that you need is there, and that most importantly, the assistance that you need along the way from someone that has done what you're trying to do is there. And so that's why we don't do anything now in the seminar arena that is not accompanied with coaching. And we think that was the missing key for the first couple of years. Once we got that figured out, 15, 17 years ago, and started making sure that the coach was part of the process, our success rates have gone up. And more importantly, what I hear back from our folks is, a lot of times people have success and sometimes they don't. Sometimes they don't know what they're getting into. But what I'm hearing back from the folks that have worked with us on the seminars is that everything that we told them would happen happened. they got their coach. People make decisions. They might decide, hey, this isn't, I'm less comfortable than I thought talking in front of groups, so I don't really like that. Or, I really don't, I think that there's other ways that I can do business where it's not going to be as expensive, or I've gotten comfortable with doing less business now. There's other reasons why people may or may not continuously do seminars, but one thing that I hear consistently is that, hey, what you all told me, that's exactly what happened. And that's important to us here at IAMS because, we want to earn your business forever. And that's important to our coaches as well, because that's what we talk about. Hey, are we having success? And if we're not, why aren't we? And generally speaking, we're very, very happy with the results of that. So having the coaching along the way and having experienced people that are doing what you're doing now, not did do it, but are doing it now, and are very good at transferring that information and, being a good spokesperson for, being a good cheerleader and coach for exactly what they do. We think that's really, really important. And that's, if you want to have good things happen in the seminar business, that has to happen that way. I just don't have any doubt in my mind about that. And then you have to have some of the best coaches, and we feel like here at IAMS that we do. The guys that do the coaching are very, they want our people to succeed, and I think that's important as well. They're not just there to give you a couple of pointers and hope for the best. They want our guys and gals that are doing this to succeed for a lot of reasons, mostly just because that's the kind of people that they are. They're good folks. So we feel like we've got a great program. If you have interest, obviously hit yes on that. And while you're still thinking about deciding, if you have any questions, type them in. Dave, we've got a couple people on board with us today that do with you Social Security seminars.
Yep.
Yeah, and so I know that you do both. And I think if you can go over for them kind of what you see as the differences, the pluses and minuses between those two in terms of expense and conversion and things like that, I think that would be beneficial in our last couple of minutes that we have here.
Sure. I think the 3 points that are different between Social Security claiming seminars and the 401k IRA rollover seminars is this. One is that 94% of the people have some kind of Social Security. So, almost everybody has Social Security. Not everybody has a retirement plan, okay? So I think that of getting people to a workshop, you're going to get more people with Social Security because it affects more people. Also, it's not a dinner workshop, so it costs you less money from a marketing standpoint to get them there. The second thing is that of dollars you're working with, there's no doubt that when you're looking at that pre-retired and retired and strictly working around retirement money, that's mostly the biggest asset, even bigger asset than what the home equity is. So you normally run into bigger assets around the 401k IRA rollover seminar probably than you will the Social Security. So I'm not saying there's one better than the other. If you don't know Social Security, it's great information to get through coaching, so it's kind of a double good thing. But I'll tell you what, people learn a lot when we coach for 5 sessions through the 401k and IRA rollover. Just reading all the information from the slides, you'll find insights that you didn't know before that will make you a better producer when it comes to helping your prospective clients. So do I think one is better than the other? I do not. I will say this, though, from a competition standpoint, there are probably more people doing the Social Security workshops in our business than there is of someone who's just doing solely of the topic of 401ks and IRAs. So I can kind of go back and forth, Steve, and that's why those are the two, by far, those are the two workshops that have been the most successful for IAMS here in the past years. And I think one of the reason is that I'm helping them with coaching them through the language, what to say, how to close, the process. I mean, all of that together, anyone can. There's a lot of FMOs, insurance marketing organizations have a good seminar PowerPoint, but who goes in and really teaches what to do with the blueprint of that workshop? Step by step, and that's where the coach comes on in, Dave Pimper, and not beating myself on the chest, but I think I really do help people, handhold them through that until they really get a great feeling of how to give that workshop themselves.
Oh, absolutely. I attributed almost 100% our success around those two seminars to the work that you do with the guys and gals that have gone forward with both of those. So And we have run over just a bit in time. I closed that poll out. There were a couple of people that did not vote. I'd say probably actually about 6 or 7 folks that didn't vote. And some of that might be because you were able to, maybe you're procrastinating. So hopefully, if you see this slide before you, you will not do that, because as 19 starts, it's going to be a year of, just as 18 has been, a year of huge opportunity in the safety and guarantees marketplace. And the more people that you can set yourself in front of, whether it's via seminars, mailings, whatever, the more business that you're going to do. And once you have a client, that's a client forever. And I know that you all do a great job of taking care of your clients. So take advantage of this opportunity right now. Get yourself, this is a perfect time right now to say, okay, this is something I want to do for 19. And so let me have this 20-minute conversation with Dave and see if this is a fit. If this isn't a fit, maybe there's something else for you. But this is the time to do it, to take advantage of 19. Don't let yourself be left behind, because there's going to be a lot of opportunity coming to our business in 2019. So if you were unable to hit on the poll, yes or no, and you would like to speak with Dave, certainly give me a call here at the office, 800-255-5055. There's only one reason that we do this webinar with Dave, and that Dave does it, is to help grow our business by helping you grow your business. And that's why we have Dave. He's been a great partner for probably 11, 12 years now, working with our guys, and made a major impact with a lot of our producers. So that's why he's here, is to help you grow your business. And that's why we're here, is to help you grow your business. So take a few minutes, if you would, give us a call here at the office, 800-255-5055. Catch up with me, catch up with your annuity sales director, and let's see what we can do to help you make this year finish out strong, and 2019 go exactly the way that you want it to be. Thank you for taking a minute to join us here this morning. Dave, anything you want to say as we close out?
No, just thank you very much for your time. Let's have a real productive week.
Great. As always, Dave, thank you very much as well. I will echo what Dave says. Let's have a great finish to the week, and let us know how we can serve you better. Thank you very much.
Goodbye, everybody.